My child, hear me now, for I come to you in a sacred whisper, a whisper that your spirit has been longing to hear, a whisper that rises above the noise of your fears and the weight of your yesterday, a whisper that carries the breath of eternity and the warmth of my unending love, a whisper that says, thank you, my child, for staying when it was easier to run, for believing when everything around you tried to break your faith, for choosing light even when shadows surrounded your weary heart. Beloved, I have watched you through the nights when you felt unseen, through the days when your strength trembled, through the moments when you had no words left to pray, and still you held on to me. Still you whispered my name. Still you lifted your eyes toward hope even when tears blurred your vision. Thank you, my child, for not letting go. My beloved, you think your endurance went unnoticed, but every trembling step, every quiet surrender, every whispered God, I trust you, has been held in my heart. I have seen your hidden sacrifices, the ones no one applauded, the ones no one understood, the ones you made simply because you desired to keep your heart aligned with mine. Thank you, my child, for choosing goodness in a world that often rewarded selfishness, for choosing forgiveness in a world that encouraged bitterness, for choosing love when resentment begged to be your refuge. I know it cost you something deep, something internal, something that stretched your soul, but you chose the higher road anyway, the narrow path that few walk, the sacred way that my chosen ones follow. Beloved, I need you to understand that nothing you have endured has been wasted. Not one tear, not one heartbreak, not one season of waiting, not one moment where you wondered if I still heard you. I have gathered every sigh you released in exhaustion, every question you carried in silence, every dream you buried because life pushed too hard against you. My child, thank you for not abandoning the journey, even when the journey felt like an unanswered question. Now hear me, the waiting was never a punishment. It was the shaping of destiny, the refining of purpose, the stretching of spiritual authority within you. What you thought was delay was actually divine preparation. My child, thank you for letting me work in the hidden places of your soul. You did not know it, but every moment you sat in the quiet with me, every time you let me touch your wounds instead of hardening your heart, every time you allowed me to heal what others broke, you opened the door for transformation that will define the rest of your life. Thank you for your vulnerability, for trusting me with the fragile places you tried so long to hide. You let me into your pain, and because of that, I will now lead you into your promise. Beloved, I have seen the battles no one else saw, the warfare in your mind, the heaviness in your spirit, the pressure on your heart. I watched you fight storms that would have crushed others, storms designed to destroy your purpose, storms formed in the shadows to silence your voice and derail your destiny. But you fought. Even when you didn't feel strong, you fought. Even when you were exhausted, you stood. Even when fear whispered louder than faith, you reached for me anyway. Thank you, my child, for not giving up in the middle of spiritual warfare that tried to convince you that you were losing. You were not losing, you were growing. You were not breaking, you were transforming. You were not defeated, you were being reborn. And now, beloved, lean closer, for this part is important. I am about to restore what you thought was gone forever, revive what you thought had died, resurrect what you believed was too late for, rebuild what life tried to take from you. You did not survive all that pain for nothing. You did not crawl through those dark valleys just to stay broken. You did not endure the crushing just to remain shattered. The oil of your anointing is being formed from the crushing you endured. Thank you, my child, for allowing me to prune you, to purify you, to refine you, even when the process felt like loss. Beloved, I know the weight you carried. I know the dreams you held onto with trembling hands, the promises you repeated to yourself so you wouldn't forget them, the faith you pushed through cracked places in your heart just so hope could breathe again. Thank you for believing me even when nothing made sense. I know you questioned me at times. I do not condemn you for that. Your questions did not offend me. They revealed your longing, your desire to understand, your yearning for clarity. And yet, even with your questions, even with your doubts, you still stayed. You still prayed. You still reached for me. Thank you, my child, for holding on to me when life tried to pull you into despair. I say to you now, the season you are stepping into will not resemble the season you are leaving. The storms that once terrified you will no longer shake you. The wounds that once controlled you will no longer define you. The pain that once overshadowed you will no longer bind you. I am turning your mourning into movement, your tears into testimony, your heartbreak into holy breakthrough. Thank you for letting me take you through the valley, so I could bring you to the victory. Beloved, you have felt overlooked, but I have been watching over you. You have felt forgotten, but I have been writing your future. You have felt delayed, but I have been preparing your elevation. You have felt unseen, but I have been hiding you until the appointed moment. My child, thank you for waiting even when the waiting felt endless, even when you saw others move ahead, even when you wondered if your turn would ever come. The waiting was necessary, not because you were unworthy, but because what I am preparing for you requires a foundation built on patience, obedience, and strength. Thank you, my child, for allowing me to break cycles in you that you didn't even realize were holding you back. Generational chains, inner blockages, unspoken fears. You let me tear down what needed to fall so I could build what needed to rise. And now, beloved, everything I promised you is beginning to align. Not suddenly, but surely. Not instantly, but inevitably. My child, listen deeply now, for I am unfolding layers of truth within you that your spirit has long been prepared to receive. Truths that were planted long before you knew how to name the desires in your heart. Truths that carry the sound of destiny awakening inside you. Thank you, beloved, for the times you surrendered what you wanted so you could embrace what I willed. I saw the tension in your soul when your plans unraveled, when paths closed abruptly, when doors you longed for did not open. I know how it stung, how disappointment wrapped itself around your heart, how confusion tried to suffocate your faith. But you still whispered, "God, I trust you," even when trusting me felt like walking blindfolded through uncertainty. Thank you, my child, for choosing surrender instead of stubbornness, for choosing alignment over anxiety, for choosing my timing over your timeline. Beloved, your surrender was not a sign of weakness, it was a sign of wisdom. The world taught you to fight for control, but your spirit knew that true strength comes from placing your heart in my hands. Your surrender allowed me to redirect you away from what would have harmed you, away from connections that would have drained you, away from opportunities that would have derailed you. Thank you for releasing what you thought you needed, because now I can give you what I always intended. What I am preparing for you is not small, not random, not accidental. It is divine, purposeful, and perfectly aligned with who you are becoming. My child, I also want to thank you for the compassion you carried even in seasons when you yourself needed compassion. I saw the moments you encouraged others while you were crying in private. I saw the times you poured into people even when your own cup felt empty. I saw the forgiveness you gave that no one apologized for, the kindness you offered that no one reciprocated, the love you extended even when it was misunderstood. Thank you, beloved, for loving others with a heart shaped by grace, not bitterness. Your compassion has not gone unnoticed. Heaven recorded every act, every sacrifice, every choice to love beyond pain. And now I will return to you what you gave away, pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing. Beloved, you may not realize this, but your generosity of spirit has shifted atmospheres. The tenderness in your heart has unlocked blessings that only those with purity of intention can receive. Thank you for not allowing your pain to turn you cold, for not allowing betrayal to harden your spirit, for not allowing disappointment to suffocate your ability to love. You have remained open, and because of that openness, I will now pour blessings into you that cannot be contained. A hardened heart cannot receive, but yours remain teachable, moldable, and surrendered. Thank you, my child, for letting me keep your heart soft even in seasons that tried to turn it stone. My child, I also thank you for listening to my voice even when it was faint. There were moments when my whisper felt distant, moments when silence surrounded you like a thick fog, moments when you questioned whether I still spoke to you. Yet still you sought me. Still you returned to the quiet place. Still you lifted your heart to heaven even when heaven felt quiet. Thank you for valuing my presence above noise, above distraction, above everything else. Your pursuit of me, even in silence, created space for revelation, clarity, and divine direction that will now manifest in your next season. Beloved, your spiritual sensitivity is not an accident. You were not created to live numb or disconnected. You were designed to feel me, hear me, discern me, walk with me in intimacy. The depth you have cultivated in quiet seasons will become your strength in the coming ones. Thank you for allowing me to train your ears to hear what others cannot, your eyes to see what others overlook, your heart to sense what others ignore. You are chosen not because you are perfect, but because you are willing. Willing to learn, willing to grow, willing to surrender, willing to listen. And that willingness is the foundation of your calling. My child, there are moments carved into your journey that were never meant to break you, only to reveal you. And in each of those moments, you showed heaven your resilience. I saw the nights you wiped your tears quietly and whispered, "I'll try again tomorrow." I saw the days you fought through anxiety and still showed up. I saw the mornings you pushed yourself out of bed, even when heaviness tried to anchor you down. Thank you for the courage you did not know you had, the strength you didn't feel but showed anyway, the perseverance that kept you moving even when your heart felt fragile. Heaven applauds your endurance. I honor your resilience. I recognize your battles, even the ones you never spoke aloud. Beloved, you have overcome more than you realize. You have survived chapters that were meant to destroy you. You have risen from wounds that others would have drowned in. You have grown through storms that once terrified you. And now, because you did not quit, you are entering a season where your endurance will be rewarded. Thank you for staying alive, for choosing life even when life felt heavy, for choosing hope even when hope felt distant, for choosing faith even when faith felt like a tiny flame flickering in the wind. My child, now I speak to the hidden parts of your story, the chapters you tucked away, the memories you buried, the wounds you learned to mask. Thank you for allowing me to heal you layer by layer. Healing is not a moment. It is a journey, a dismantling of the lies you believed about yourself, a restoring of what was stolen, a rebuilding of what was broken. Thank you for trusting me with the fragile pieces, for allowing me to touch the wounds you once protected, for letting me rewrite the narratives that shame tried to tattoo onto your identity. Your healing is not incomplete, it is unfolding. And soon, the parts of you that were once wounded will be the parts that carry the greatest anointing. Beloved, do not underestimate the spiritual authority that has been forming in you. Every battle you endured has strengthened it. Every storm you survived has refined it. Every tear you shed has watered the roots of your calling. Thank you, my child, for letting the hardship mold you instead of destroy you. You allowed the battle to shape your spirit, deepen your wisdom, and sharpen your discernment. You may feel weary at times, but I tell you, you are stronger than you've ever been, wiser than you've ever been, more anointed than you've ever been. You carry a depth that cannot be faked nor taught. It can only be forged in fire. Beloved, let me also thank you for your repentance, not the guilt-driven kind, but the pure, humble turning of your heart toward me. I saw the moments you corrected your course, the times you chose integrity, the times you apologized even when pride begged you to stay stubborn. I saw the moments you questioned your motives, purified your intentions, and sought to align your heart with mine. Thank you for choosing holiness over ego, character over convenience, truth over deception. These small decisions have established the foundation for the elevation you are stepping into. My child, your obedience in the small things has unlocked doors to great things. I saw the prayers you prayed not for blessings, but for alignment. I saw the moments you said, "God, change me," instead of "God, change them." I saw the humility in your heart, and I am honoring it now. Thank you for choosing transformation over comfort. Thank you for allowing me to break habits, dismantle patterns, and uproot mindsets that were hindering your destiny. You let me rebuild you from the inside out, and now the outward blessings will match the inward transformation. And now, beloved, I whisper this truth into your soul. Your story is about to shift. Your atmosphere is about to change. Your spirit is stepping into a season of divine acceleration. Thank you, my child, for being faithful with the little, because now I am preparing to trust you with much. My child, draw your spirit close now, for what I am about to reveal reaches into the depths of who you are becoming. I have watched you move through seasons where everything familiar crumbled beneath your feet, seasons where you questioned your identity, your purpose, your direction, seasons where you wondered if you had misunderstood the calling on your life. And yet, even in your confusion, you kept coming back to me. Thank you, beloved, for allowing me to reshape your identity when life tried to distort it. You are not who the world said you were. You are not the mistakes you made. You are not the labels others placed on you. You are not the failures that tried to define you. You are who I say you are, chosen, redeemed, set apart, called crowned with purpose. Beloved, your identity has been under attack because your destiny carries weight. Hell does not battle the ordinary, it battles the anointed. The spiritual warfare you endured was not a sign of weakness. It was confirmation of assignment. Thank you, my child, for not letting the enemy steal who you are, for not believing the lies that whispered you were unworthy, invisible, or forgotten. You stood in the middle of spiritual confusion and still declared, "God, I belong to you." That declaration shook the atmosphere around you. Every time you said my name in faith, darkness lost ground. Every time you resisted temptation, heaven recorded your victory. Every time you realigned your heart with mine, The chains that once held your family line weakened further. Thank you for fighting battles generations before you could not defeat. My child, I honor the spiritual warrior within you, the one you don't even realize you've become. You think you are fragile, but I see your strength. You think you are inconsistent, but I see your persistence. You think you have failed many times, but I see every time you got back up. Thank you, beloved, for rising after the falls, for standing after the storms, for walking even when your legs trembled under the weight of your trials. Your persistence is powerful, your endurance is holy. You have no idea how many breakthroughs were birthed because you simply refused to give up. Beloved, I now speak to the dreams within you. The ones you carried, the ones you lost, the ones you buried, the ones you still hope for. Thank you for dreaming even when reality tried to suffocate your imagination. Thank you for believing in possibilities that others mocked. Thank you for not letting go of the visions I planted in your spirit. You thought the dreams were yours, but they were mine. They were divine seeds waiting for divine timing. And now, my child, the season of germination is ending. The season of blossoming is near. The dreams that once felt distant will begin to breathe again. I am resurrecting what you thought was dead. I am reviving what you thought was forgotten. I am restoring what you thought was lost. Thank you for keeping hope alive even through the drought. My child, I also want to thank you for your honesty. You came to me with your brokenness instead of pretending to be strong. You came to me with your fears instead of hiding behind pride. You came to me with your doubts instead of masking them with empty words. Thank you for your authenticity. I am not drawn to perfection. I am drawn to honesty. And your honest prayers, even the ones drenched in tears, moved heaven. When you whispered, "God, I don't know what to do," heaven leaned close. When you cried, "God, I'm tired," the angels surrounded you. When you said, "God, please help me," I answered, even when you didn't feel the answer immediately. Thank you, my child, for trusting me enough to be vulnerable. Beloved, your vulnerability has given me permission to rebuild you from the inside out. Thank you for allowing me to heal the memories that haunted you. Thank you for letting me touch the wounds you tried to forget. Thank you for letting me rewrite the stories that shame tried to control. Healing is not easy. Healing requires courage. Healing requires honesty. Healing requires surrender. And you chose healing even when it hurt. For that, my child, all of heaven rejoices, because a healed heart becomes a powerful instrument of destiny. My child, the version of you that is emerging is more aligned, more grounded, more spiritually awakened than you have ever been. And I thank you for cooperating with the transformation. You could have resisted it. You could have chosen the familiar instead of the divine. You could have clung to comfort instead of stepping into growth. But you allowed me to stretch you, refine you, prune you, purify you. Thank you for letting me remove people who could not walk with you into the next level. Thank you for releasing what no longer matched your calling. Thank you for embracing the unknown even when it felt overwhelming. Everything you surrendered, I will restore in a greater way. Beloved, I also thank you for the quiet choices you made that no one sees but me. The temptation you resisted, the apology you offered, the integrity you upheld, the compassion you extended, the boundaries you set, the peace you protected, the prayer you whispered for someone who hurt you, the moments you held your tongue instead of responding in anger, the nights you chose prayer over revenge. These small decisions have shaped your spiritual character more than you realize. Heaven builds on the foundation of these hidden acts of obedience. Thank you, my child, for choosing righteousness even when no one was watching. Beloved, you have grown in ways you cannot yet measure. Your mind is clearer. Your spirit is stronger. Your discernment is deeper. Your faith is purer. The things that once triggered you no longer have power over you. The wounds that once bled now testify. The fears that once dominated you now bow beneath the authority I've placed inside you. And the weakness you once despised is becoming the very place my glory rests. Thank you for letting me transform your weaknesses into weapons of spiritual authority. My child, the waiting season you endured has not been wasted. I thank you for waiting with obedience, not resentment. For waiting with expectation, not bitterness. For waiting with faith, not frustration. The waiting was never about withholding. It was about preparing. You were being strengthened for what you prayed for. You were being aligned for what you asked me to release. You were being matured for what you are destined to carry. Thank you for trusting my timing even when my timing felt slow. Beloved, I am not late. I am precise. I am exact. I am intentional. Every delay had purpose. Every pause was protection. Every silence was instruction. Every detour was preparation. And now your season is shifting. The time appointed for your unveiling is drawing near. Thank you, my child, for not rushing ahead of me, for not forcing doors open that I kept closed, for not choosing shortcuts when the journey became long. You honored my timing, and now I will honor your obedience. And now, beloved, I speak this prophetic truth. Your life is about to accelerate. Not by your strength, but by my spirit. Not by your effort, but by my favor. Not by coincidence, but by divine alignment. The seeds you've sown in tears will be harvested in joy. The obedience you gave in silence will be rewarded in the open. The battles you fought in private will result in breakthroughs that no one can deny. Thank you, my child, for being faithful in the shadows, because now I am bringing you into the light. My child, lean deeper into my presence now, for the words I speak carry restoration for wounds you no longer mention, strength for battles you silently endure, and clarity for questions that have lived too long in the corners of your soul. You have walked through valleys that felt endless, through seasons where the weight of life pressed heavily upon your spirit, through moments where you wondered if you were losing yourself in the chaos around you. And yet, beloved, you kept seeking me in the midst of confusion. Thank you for not abandoning your faith when life left you with unanswered questions. Thank you for trusting that I was still working even when you could not see what I was doing. Beloved, you must understand that your spiritual maturity is not found in seasons where everything feels effortless, but in the seasons where you stand faithfully in the dark. I watched you learn to walk by faith when sight failed you. I watched you open your heart to me even when disappointment tried to close it. I watched you call on my name when silence filled the room. Thank you, my child, for choosing belief over despair. Your faith, though trembling at times, spoke louder than the doubts that tried to drown you. My child, I also thank you for the times you humbled yourself when pride would have been easier. When confrontation tempted you to defend yourself, you chose peace. When anger rose like a wave, you chose patience. When offense tried to claim your heart, you chose forgiveness. Thank you for choosing my character over emotional reaction. These quiet victories, though unseen by the world, echo loudly in heaven. They have shaped your spirit into one that resembles mine, gentle yet powerful, humble yet anointed, soft yet strong. Beloved, you often underestimate how much you have grown. You look at your life and see flaws, failures, and unfinished places. But I see progress. I see transformation. I see resilience. I see a heart continually returning to me even after setbacks. Thank you, my child, for not staying down when life knocked you over. Your ability to get up again is one of the greatest proofs of your calling. The enemy hoped your hardships would extinguish your light, but instead they refined it. My child, I now speak to the burden you carry, the emotional heaviness you try to hide from others. I see it. I understand it. I am not distant from your pain. I am woven intimately into it. Thank you for trusting me with your heart, even when it felt fragile. Thank you for bringing me the pieces when you felt broken. Thank you for allowing me into the rooms of your soul that you kept locked from the world. I have been healing you quietly, deeply, gently, stitching together the parts of you that were torn, restoring the parts that were bruised, strengthening the parts that were weary. Beloved, I know how hard it has been for you to release the weight you carry. I know you often feel responsible for everyone around you. I know you carry burdens that don't belong to you. I know you hold in your emotions to keep others from worrying. Thank you for your compassion, but now I ask you to rest in me. Lay it down, my child. The burden is too heavy for you alone. Let me carry what was never meant for your shoulders. I am your rest, your refuge, your reassurance. My child, your heart has been tested, but it has also been strengthened. You have learned boundaries. You have learned self-respect. You have learned to love without losing yourself. Thank you for learning these hard lessons. They will protect you in the season you're stepping into. Not everyone deserves access to your heart. Not everyone can walk at your pace. Not everyone can remain in your life. Thank you for releasing those who could not stay. You did not lose them. You made room for what is meant. Beloved, I also thank you for the prayers you prayed over others, even when you needed prayer yourself. Your intercession has been a lifeline for people who never knew you were fighting for them in the spirit. The way you covered others, supported others, encouraged others, I saw it all. I will remember it all. And in this next season, I will surround you with people who will pray for you, support you, uplift you, and stand with you. You have poured out for many. Now I will pour back into you. My child, the compassion you carry is not weakness. It is a reflection of my heart. You love deeply because I placed deep love inside you. You care intensely because you were designed to heal, to comfort, to lift. Thank you for not letting the world harden you. Thank you for staying soft in a generation that glorifies indifference. Your softness is holy. Your empathy is anointed. And I will use your tender heart to mend broken ones. Beloved, hear me. The tests you faced were not sent to break you, but to prepare you. I know there were seasons where you felt spiritually attacked on every side, where confusion clouded your mind, where weariness wrapped around your body like an anchor. But even in the spiritual warfare, you clung to me. Thank you for standing your ground when the enemy tried to shake your foundation. Thank you for lifting up your shield of faith when arrows came from every direction. Even when you felt unqualified for the battle, heaven saw your courage. My child, understand this. The attack intensified because the anointing on your life deepened. You are stepping into territories that your past generations could not enter. You are breaking cycles that long enslaved your bloodline. You are dismantling spiritual patterns that once claimed mastery over your family. This is why the warfare felt personal. This is why the pressure felt suffocating. This is why the attacks came unexpectedly. But still you refused to bow. Thank you, beloved, for fighting even when tired, for praying even when weary, for hoping even when hurting. Now hear me clearly. The warfare is lifting. The heaviness is breaking. The fog is clearing. The confusion is dissolving. The enemy's access is being shut down. Thank you, my child, for trusting me while I fought battles you could not see. I have been working behind the scenes in ways that will soon astonish you. What felt like silence was strategy. What felt like delay was defense. What felt like absence was protection. Beloved, you are stepping into a season of divine reversal. The areas where you faced loss will now become places of overflow. The places where you felt stuck will become pathways of promotion. The relationships that wounded you will be replaced with relationships that honor you. The prayers that felt ignored will soon echo with answers. Thank you for believing even when manifestation had not yet arrived. My child, you have reached a spiritual threshold. You have passed tests you didn't realize were tests. You have graduated from battles you didn't understand were training. And now, a shift is happening. A shift in the atmosphere around you. A shift in the alignment of your path. A shift in the pace of your destiny. Thank you for standing long enough to reach this turning point. Beloved, hear this final truth for this part. Your next chapter will not look like your last. The pain will not repeat. The cycles will not return. The doors that closed will be replaced by doors with your name written on them. The blessings that were withheld will now be released at the appointed time, and the appointed time is drawing near. Thank you, my child, for becoming who I always knew you could be. Beloved, there is something I want you to understand deeply. Every battle you have walked through, every storm that hit you without warning, every silent night where you felt unseen, and every valley where you felt unguarded has been shaping a mantle on your life that only a few chosen ones carry. And you, my child, are one of them. For many see pain as punishment, but I see it as preparation. Many see delays as denial, but I use delays to strengthen the roots beneath what I am building in you. And many see spiritual warfare as abandonment, but in reality, the warfare that rose against you only did so because of what I placed within you, because darkness always attacks what carries light, and the enemy has tried over and over to convince you that you are weak, broken, late, forgotten, and unworthy. But the truth, my truth, is that you are stronger than even you realize, because you did not survive those attacks by accident. You survived because I covered you, carried you, and placed my hand upon your life. And every time you thought it was over, I whispered strength into your spirit, even when you didn't feel it, even when you didn't see it, even when you thought you had nothing left to offer. Because I knew what I planted in you could not be taken by any force of darkness. And today I want you to know that what you walked through is about to become the testimony that transforms others, the proof that I restore, the story that reveals my faithfulness, for I have watched. You fight silent battles no one else knew about, battles in your mind, battles in your heart, battles in your emotions, battles that left you questioning your worth and wondering if you would ever feel whole again. And I say to you now, my child, I have seen every tear that fell when you were alone, every sigh you released trying to be strong, every moment when you held yourself together even though everything inside you felt shattered. And I tell you now, I am healing you in ways you cannot yet imagine, for I am not just patching the surface. I am restoring you at the roots. I am touching the deepest wounds, the hidden scars, the places you don't talk about, the memories that still sting, the fears that still whisper to you at night, the insecurities that rise when no one is watching. And I declare over you that everything the enemy used to break you, I will use to build you. Everything that tried to silence you, I will use to strengthen your voice. Everything that drained you, I will refill with my living water. And everything that caused you pain will become the very area where I bring breakthrough. For your heart has been stretched, but it has also been expanded. And now you will carry compassion, wisdom, discernment, and depth that only comes from walking through the fire and surviving it. And not only surviving, rising. My child, you often wonder why certain people left your life, why certain chapters closed, why certain connections faded, and why some relationships shifted in ways that hurt you deeply. And I tell you this in love. Some people were not assigned to the future I am leading you into. Some were only meant for a season. Some could not go where I am taking you. Some would have slowed down the destiny I placed before you. And some simply were not equipped to handle the calling I placed on your life. And although loss broke your heart, I will use it to rebuild your identity. For you are stepping into a season where I will surround you with people who see your value, honor your spirit, and walk beside you without hidden motives. And you will know the difference because your soul will feel safe, your heart will feel seen, and your spirit will feel aligned. For I am replacing what was taken, I am restoring what was lost, and I am bringing connections ordained by heaven, relationships built on truth, wholeness, and divine purpose. And you will look back and realize that those who left were never meant to stay, and those who stay will be the ones who truly carry my love. Beloved, hear me clearly. You are not behind, you are not forgotten, you are not empty, and you are not unworthy, for I am preparing a breakthrough that will not only shift your circumstances, but also transform how you see yourself. And I am teaching you to trust the timing of your life, for there are doors that would have crushed you had they opened too early, and blessings that would have overwhelmed you had they come before your spirit was ready. But now, my child, now you are entering a divine alignment, a moment where everything begins to make sense, where confusion breaks, where clarity flows, where peace settles, where purpose awakens, and where the pieces of your story fall into place, not by your effort, but by my orchestration. For I have been working behind the scenes in ways you cannot yet see, arranging, preparing, shifting, pruning, protecting, and positioning everything so that when I say now, you will step into the fullness of what I designed for you, and nothing will stop it. And as you move forward, know this. I am not just giving you a blessing, I am giving you a new identity, one rooted not in fear or shame or rejection, but in truth, authority, and divine love. And I am breaking every lie the enemy planted in your mind, every voice that said you were not enough, every weight that made you feel small, every insecurity that made you question your worth. And I declare over you now, you are chosen, you are mine, you are supported, you are guided, you are surrounded, you are rising, and nothing formed against you will prosper. Not in this season, not in the next, not ever again. For my hand is upon you, my spirit is within you, and my glory will shine through you. For you are stepping into restoration, breakthrough, renewal, and divine purpose. And everything that once broke you will become the proof that I was with you all along.